Hello and welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. This is Mansions of Madness, the second edition. And as you can see, we've got the whole mansion. No, I shouldn't say the whole mansion. We've got a good chunk of the mansion displayed here. We are probably in the last few rounds of this game, being that William is dazed, insane, wounded, and Father Mateo is wounded, but has managed to keep himself alive using some really handy items in the last video. So he's not as in trouble as William is. However, he's wounded and he has 1 damage, 5 more, and he's gone and eliminated. Whereas on William's side, he's gone insane and he's 1 away, and we're using our King James Bible to keep him sane. So he's reading the Bible in order to keep his sanity down, because he's getting far into despair. He's also dazed for this upcoming turn, which is bad. He's got 2 damage and he's wounded, so he's on his way from dying just from wounds alone. So it's a good thing William, being the most troubled character of the entire situation, is far away from the star spawn, our friendly neighborhood star spawn that spawned into the mansion. I have no idea how he would fit, but he is in there and he's coming for us. So we are at the very beginning of the investigator phase. In between videos, I've already shuffled all the cards up. I've also shuffled these up so I don't know what the face down cards are, and we're ready to rock. Now, what I'm going to do for my very first action is I'm not going to worry about Father Mateo just yet and where he should go. I'm going to talk about William. We're going to try to use as many attempts to crack the code or the alien scripts that are in this interact token. So I've interacted with this already, and as you can see right here, there's 0 guesses. I haven't actually put a guess in for this interaction, but what I did was I looked through my previous pile of failures, even though I got a lot of success in there as I went along, and I found a combination that I think may work. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not doing so well at this puzzle thing, I can tell you that much right now, but I'm going to give this a shot. I do have the ability to use my skill of lore, which gives me 3 possible guesses for this particular action. So here we go. Let's see what happens. All right, so we got 4 correct. Okay, now this is where things get weird because I've had 4 correct before, and if I go down here, the last one I got 4 correct on was this one. And it was a green, a white, a red, and a green. And I ended up getting 4 correct on that one. So the only thing that changed there was the middle one. So it's just my middle one that's incorrect. Now, if I look through here, anytime I use gold, I never got a magnifying glass. So we know it's not gold. It could be that it's red again. No, sorry, that wouldn't be red. It could be that it's tough, but I think I got the first 2 right. Oops, not the gold one. I think I've got the first 2 possible selections correct. It's the middle one that I think is the one that's gumming me up, and I've used red, as you can see, many times, and that's kind of what was killing me here. But I'm also not really 100% sure which one should be in there, so I'm going to go white this time, red, green. We'll see if that combination works. Hey, there we go. We unlocked it finally. Okay, jeez, that took forever. So what's going to happen now? I'm actually really excited for this. You decipher the arcane script and it reveals the secret of the cult's magics to you. You believe that with this knowledge you could reverse the ritual using the cult's own circle. Discard this interact token and place an interact token as indicated. Nice. So essentially with the 1 action I can discard this interact token, but another one appears here. So that's good news. Now I can hit continue. What does it let me do from here? Okay, so that's it. Now this is where things get real interesting because I've already used an action. William's in this room, and the really horrible thing about this is it becomes a timing game for me because, yes, you'd think, hey, let's grab William and jump him in here so he's ready for the next turn. Well, guess what? I can't do that because if I use my second action and I don't deal with using the King James Bible to lose a discard, a face-down horror, I will go, my claustrophobia would trigger and I will instantly be eliminated. So the terrible thing about this is it's going to take me 2 rounds just to get to that token. So this is going to be real dicey. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to pull this off. I'm going to give it a shot. I will click on this token just to see what it says, but I won't use it. It says a circle of ruins is carved into the wooden floor and adorned with various ritual objects. It was recently used to create a rift, but you think it could be used to reverse it by applying information you've gathered about the ritual or by using your own occult knowledge. Interesting. So again, I'm going to have an action in order to get in to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate my King James Bible action. It says you or another investigator can discard one face down horror. I've already shuffled these, so I'm just going to take the top one and chuck it. But the second that I chuck this, which I'm for now, during this video I'll put them off to the side, later I'll put them back in the deck, but for now, as soon as I end my turn with William, and of course daze no longer affects him, he's no longer dazed, so I can remove that as well. His claustrophobia is going to trigger, and it's because he's within a space of, it says if you end your turn within a space of 2 or, this is kind of what has been similar for William. You guys are very familiar with this by now. So essentially one face down horror. So we take a new face down horror, and you can see what's happening. I'm basically just with an action cycling things. That's the end of William's turn. Now this is where things get sticky because Father Mateo is in a really, really dicey situation. And when I say dicey, I'm not joking. He is in trouble because he is, yeah, he was able to kind of heal up a little bit, and he doesn't have as much damage to his name currently. The real worry that I have with him is that he can't use all of his movement to run real quick. Because he's wounded and he has this wound card, he can only use one of his actions to move. He can't use both. It's almost like he's hurt. The game is essentially saying you can't move as fast, so I can only go at max 2 spaces. So I could do something like 1, 2. This would allow me to get into a space where I think if this star spawn only is able to move 1 or 2 spaces, I should be safe for a horror check and be okay. However, if he gets enough movement, he may end up in the same space as me. And if he ends up in the same space as me, well, then things get really ugly because I may have to do a horror check, and currently his sanity is, he hasn't gone insane yet, but it would probably be a pretty nasty one to do. So, but I think this is the only strategy that I have now is to head this way. I don't want to be in the hallway. So for his move, I'm essentially going to do his movement here. He's going to move across and he's going to head into the lobby area. And then we're going to take a look at his cards to see if there's anything I can do. Any investigator within range? No. So there's nothing else I can do with his turn that's of any value at this point. So that's kind of sad. There's nothing that I can do to really help him out. So his turn is in essence done, and we're going to have to end the investigator phase there and hope that this Mythos phase doesn't destroy us. It says when the scream begins, you believe it to be a human being crying out in fear. By the time the last echoes die, you can only conclude it is some sort of wild beast. Far closer than you would like. Each investigator suffers 1 face down horror. Oh no. Okay, so because of that, William York at this point automatically now facing his, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is 7. That is his max sanity. He's already insane, and it says when you have suffered horror equal to your insanity or equal to your sanity, you are eliminated. So he has been eliminated in the attic. What ends up happening is all of the items that he currently has in his possession are essentially dropped in that location, and his character is removed from the board. This won't matter too much because Father Mateo likely won't be able to get to him anyway, but he is now off the board and all his possessions are there. So we'll flip his character card over he's had a rough day. He had a good time, but he went crazy and wasn't able to get to that interact token. That's too bad. Yikes, this is going to get sketchy. Okay, so then if we come over here, now things are really looking dire. And of course, I have to do 1 face down insanity hit for, and it does say face down, so I don't have to flip these over. So we got 1 face down there for Father Mateo. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. I'm sure there's more to this story. The star spawn moves up to 1 space to be within range of as many investigators as possible. Then it attacks each investigator within range. So he's going to head into the hallway. He's getting pretty angry, and he is right there, but he's not within range because I had gone into another room. So for now, cannot move to be within range. Oh, actually, sorry. It says the star spawn moves up to 1 space to be within range of as many investigators as possible. Then it attacks each investigator within range. So it says right here, cannot move to be within range. So he wouldn't be in range, so he's not going to move. At least that's how I'm reading this particular one. So I'm going to hit that. And then it says here, the star spawn moves 1 space toward the nearest investigator. So he's coming out anyway. So that makes more sense now. Yikes. Okay. Then it says each investigator must resolve a horror check against the monster within range that has the highest horror. Thankfully, I'm inside the lobby and he's in the hallway, so I don't have anything to worry about there. So I can go ahead and tap the end button now and just move on back to the investigator phase. Now this is where things get really nasty because he can't move quickly, and this is going to be the biggest problem for Father Mateo. Is I need to get here, and I've got this guy chasing me down. So, oh, this is really bad. In hindsight, I probably should have come out of the door and gone to here, but then I would have taken some horror hits from him. So at this point, it's not looking good, I'll tell you that much. So obviously the only thing I can do is try to book it to here and we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna go 1 and then 2. And I just want to double check really quick just to ensure that there isn't anything action-wise that I'm totally forgetting about that he has the ability to do. Because I don't want to waste, I don't like not doing anything. I can explore, search, move, interact, trade, do a component action, all that kind of good stuff. The problem is Father Mateo doesn't have anything really that's great to do. Oh, but he does have Wither. And I could use a ranged attack with him. That could be a decent thing to do. So I'm going to do a ranged attack of Wither against the Star Spawn from where I'm at here. We'll see what we can do. I mean, he's a pretty nasty guy, so we'll use our attack. Why not? So we're attacking the Star Spawn, which is probably going to fail. But, and this is considered a spell. So we're going to go ahead and say attack with spell. You close your eyes, clench your fists, and recite the blasphemous phrase. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to roll our lore, which is a 4. So I'm going to grab 4 of these dice. I've got 1 clue to spend, so that's good. I don't know if that's going to really do much for me or not, but I'm hoping I can pull this out here. And I got 2. Holy, okay. If you pass, a whip of crackling black energy lashes out at the beast. The monster suffers damage equal to your test result plus 1. Nice. So, okay, so that's good. And then it's at the very bottom, then flip the spell you attack with. So he actually gets hit for 3 damage. He's got 10 health. I don't know if you can see that up in the top left. He's going to take a lot of damage to die. What does it say? For a moment, you see yourself in the face of your victim. Suffer 1 face down horror. Oh, geez. So I'm slowly kind of hurting myself here. Then discard this card and gain another Wither spell. So I'm going to throw this aside and we're going to go to the deck. I've already got them in alphabetical order, so I'll grab the top, whatever the top one is. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong deck. We need the spell deck. And we'll grab the top Wither card. There we go. And we'll run with it. See what happens. I don't know. I mean, maybe if I get lucky, I can get myself to here. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I'm done now. That is the end of the investigator phase. So I'm ending it, and here we go. This is where things get real ugly. Your investigation has gone on too long, and your strength is now ebbing. Each investigator flips 2 damage face up. Okay, so I only have 1 damage, so I'm going to flip that up. Minor injury, no additional effect. Flip this card face down. Awesome. So I didn't. Luckily, Father Mateo only had the 1 to flip, so we're okay with that. Now what else is going to happen? The wind whipping around the portal begins pulling whole chunks of the mansion into the other world. Each investigator and each monster in the dining room, kitchen, or office moves to the nearest space in the lounge. What? Each investigator who moves suffers 4 damage. Then discard the dining room and office tiles and all tokens and cards on them. Okay, so let me take a look here. I've got the library, the hall, the study, the bedroom, the attic. I'm okay. So basically I'm in a certain section of the house that isn't being pulled apart. So I'm all right, surprisingly, because this is the attic, this is the hallway, this is the lobby, this is the library, study, bedroom, and attic. So I'm good. None of those things affected me whatsoever, which is insane because it sounds like a whole bunch of the... But this is what's going to affect me here is a Star Spawn. The Star Spawn moves up to 1 space to be adjacent to as many investigators as possible, so he's definitely going to move right beside me. Then he attacks each investigator, so he's going to attack me. The creature slams a single massive limb into the ground, sending out an rending shockwave. Agility 2. So I'm trying to use my agility basically to dodge this. Father Mateo's agility is a 3, and I have 1 clue, so maybe that'll help me out. Oh man, did I ever need that. Okay, so I've got a clue in the magnifying glass. I'm going to use my clue. That's going to give me this elder sign to successfully pass. If you pass, you manage to keep your footing despite the horde quake, become dazed. Okay, so I'm dazed. I can handle that though. I'd rather be dazed than get any more injuries on Father Mateo. If you fail, the force of the impact throws you to the ground, suffer 2 face down damage, and become dazed. Oh, that's if I fail. Oh, you know what? I'm just trying to think here. I may have made a massive mistake. I might have gone a little too far. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so when William died as a result of... Shoot, when was that? Because when William was eliminated, there was 2 face down horror given, and then Father Mateo moved to here. That would be it. This particular Mythos phase should never have occurred. So this is probably a mistake on my part because I just got a little excited at thinking, like in a typical game, you can usually keep going even when one of your characters goes down. But in Mansions of Madness, I was just reminded, like this particular Mythos event would actually not even occur. Based on the rules, which I'll show you guys right here, I basically already lost. There was no hope at this point. And I'll show you exactly where that is so that you're not thinking I'm pulling this out of my you-know-what. So this is right here. When an investigator is eliminated, he drops all his possessions on his space and removes his investigator figure from the board, which we did with Williams. Then the remaining investigators have a single additional investigator phase to complete their investigation. So when William died over here, I was like in this room. There was no way in heck I would have made it far enough along to get this interact token. I'm sorry, I was here. I moved as far as I could move, and I didn't have enough interactions or actions or anything to get to this token to do it in time. So at that point, the game would end. So I really want to apologize to everybody because I actually just started playing the Mythos phase, which wouldn't have even happened because I've already lost the game. I kind of knew this was coming though. So now I can tell you right now, for those of you that are watching this playthrough versus Too Many Bones, this is like night and day. Like I'm playing Too Many Bones and my luck and my rolling and my success seems to be going in my favor. This game, however, I'm having a blast playing it, but it is definitely tougher and definitely a little bit of a learning curve in terms of success. I'm having, you guys could probably tell for the past probably 3 videos that I actually had quite a bit of struggling in terms of the dice rolling, even breaking through puzzles and stuff like that. Now, some of that is my own fault for this is the very first time that I've dived into this game. So for those of you that have been playing this forever, you may have watched some of those videos and been cringing the entire time thinking, wow, you're really botching this up. So I do really apologize for that. This is my first run through. I did read the rulebooks fully before I played, but I just remembered now that technically we have been eliminated as of before this Mythos phase we're currently in. So what would normally happen is this wouldn't have happened anyway. You know, you do your investigator phase here, and I think there's actually an eliminated option in here. You basically say like, too bad, I tried and didn't do it. So here it is, investigator eliminated. When a player is eliminated, the game ends at the end of the next investigator phase. See, this is what I should have done, but I was playing it outside of the app mistakenly, so I do apologize for that. So then you hit end game. And this is the text that's going to be read afterwards. So it says, the loss of your fellow investigator leaves the group in shambles. You struggle to continue the investigation, but the loss of your ally proves devastating. You flee the scene, leaving the matter unresolved. And that's it. So, oh no, there's more, sorry. The injuries you have suffered and the trauma you have endured will truly heal, or never truly heal. The knowledge of the dark things that lurk in this world and your failure to halt their machinations will haunt you for what little remains of your miserable life. Now there is motivational speaking 101 right there. The end. And that's it, guys. I have I shouldn't say successfully, I have failfully played through Mansions of Madness 2nd edition with you guys watching, and I really, really hope that even though I failed miserably and poor William died and lost his mind, went crazy in the mansion, half the mansion got ripped away even though it shouldn't have, I accidentally didn't trigger the end of the game as I should have. I still hope that all the way through this playthrough you guys really enjoyed it. For those of you that are huge fans of the game, I do apologize for those small mistakes. However, on the flip side, to talk about the game in general, I did have a lot of fun, and I can see how this would be a game that's I want to try again. Like I've played and I only explored. Now, from what I understand, there's different ways this mansion can be set up. I may play this again and see a different layout, right? But if I ever was to get this layout again, which is probably 50-50 or 33% chance, something like that, I would at least know some of the mansion. So I could try maybe going into rooms that I hadn't gone in before, like at the very, very beginning. I think in the first, maybe it was the second video. I don't know if you guys remember that, for those of you that were following along from the beginning, but I believe we heard a scream from one of the rooms because the butler had died. Now, the butler was the person who had got us to this mansion in the first place, letting us know that Vanderbilt had gone kind of like bonkers, and he wanted us to kind of get there to figure out what was going on. But we just ignored him. We knew there was some commotion coming from this room here, but I just chose to go off on my merry way, explore the mansion, and kind of see what happened. Well, we just saw what happened. I just got totally destroyed. But next time I play this, which I will do again, then I'll try a different strategy and stuff like this. But anyway, long story short, really hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough. Let me know in the comments below if you noticed I missed anything. Obviously in this one here at the tail end, I gummed up the whole thing a little bit, but hopefully me explaining it through makes sense. If you guys are thinking about picking up the game, I think it's a great game. I never got a chance to play the first edition, but all I've heard is that this is such a streamlined experience compared to that first edition. The features of the app here, very, very cool. I also highly recommend that if you have the ability to play this on an iPad or potentially something with a larger screen like your PC, it's available on Steam, things like that. It'll increase your experience as well. Don't forget, there is sound. I just turned the sound off because I didn't want anyone coming after me for using anyone's work. But essentially there is music, there is theme, you'll hear glass breaking, you'll hear creaking, weird noises, all that kind of stuff when you have the app going, and it's a great experience. I've toyed around with it myself a little bit. So anyway, if you're on the fence, a very, very cool Ameriflash game. This is the end of Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Until the next episode of whatever it is that's coming next, keep rolling solo.